Push this button. I push this button. Now you're live.
Yay! Well, hello there.
Hello.
I had to. It's I don't know.
I wasn't
Happening.
okay.
We're back.
Mm.
Back again.
JD is back.
Yeah.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
I'd like to first of all apologise. The reason we're late is my fault. There were no technical issues. I forgot.
She forgot about me.
And I think that's the theme with me in this movie.
No, that's true. That's very true. You did forget about this poor guy and girl and everyone in it.
We'll get into that probably in a second.
It's fine. Do you want to introduce our
We'll start that way, shall we?
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Let me just sit down.
Yes. Do what you have to do. Oh.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to all the films we judged before. I'm Katie. That's Lily K. What? Crazy.
What? Crazy. What the hell? What the hell?
I put minimal amounts of makeup on, which means you can see my spot very, very clearly.
And I don't put makeup on, and I put on a baseball hat. I look like a guy.
Grand. Love it.
It's just happening.
I also don't think you do, but like...
I feel like I do. Like, every time I look at myself, because obviously I can see myself here, I'm like, I look like my brother. Like, well, oh well, it's in the family, so of course I look like him.
That's the way it goes. Did you see the picture? We're already getting way off track there,
yes,
but
that's fine.
did you see the pictures that Jensen put up of his little girl on
Oh my
his
God.
first? I was looking at the two of them and I was like,
Dad!
she has his nose, like
Yes,
his exact nose. Same. I was like, oh my God, genetics, man, they're so strong.
Yeah, I just love how she was just following him around, like just never letting his hand go, and I'm like,
bless her.
Stop it. Stop being cute.
I mean, we all knew the moment that they were like, we've had children. Like, she's already such a beautiful young girl.
I mean,
she's going to grow up to be
parents.
Yeah,
so...
that like we all knew, but like, oh wow, she is pretty.
Yeah, she's pretty. She's pretty.
What a lovely dress.
Yeah, I will say though, I know this is a live stream and we clearly titled it THOR review, but I need to talk about the boys a little bit. Mostly.
I mean, we're gonna do an episode on the boys, though, aren't we?
Yes, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. I need to vent it out. Otherwise, I will be very angry. I already am. The fact that these motherfuckers at the Emmys didn't nominate Anthony Starr for Best Leading Man is...
Look, the Emmys this year, I've got other beef with them, to be honest.
I have this.
Our Flag Means Death got nothing. I thought it would get, like, production design or costume, because I mean, the costumes were amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it would get costumes if it wasn't going to get anything else. Nothing. I'm very annoyed. Midnight Mass also got massively snubbed.
Yep.
I didn't even kind of clock that
one. Yeah.
until I saw Raoul tweeting about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're absolutely right.
Yep. Yeah, Hamish Linklater.
He should have. Yeah.
He should have been nominated. And but my biggest issue this year is definitely Anthony Starr, who's just, he was already great as Homelander, like, and he's great in general, but this season, fucking hell.
I have things to say about Homelander this season, but again, we'll wait for that until we actually do our review.
Wait, are they bad things or good things?
No, not bad things. Just like interesting things that I'm noticed about. Not even his, like, he's amazing, obviously. There's nothing about his performance that is bad. It is incredible. There was an interesting reaction that I had to him this season. Did you
feel sorry for him?
Not even that. Again, I don't really want to go into it because this is not what we're doing here yet, and we'll just end up doing an entire episode, and that we don't need to do that yet. That's for next week.
I felt sorry for him.
Well, yeah, but like, I don't think that's not necessarily. Leave it. It's fine. It's just an interesting reaction personally that I have found that I had to the whole thing. That's it.
You can't leave me like that. Like, no, I just want to know.
Well, I don't want to get into it properly because we're not doing that today.
Just tell me, what did you feel?
I wasn't afraid of him this season. That's all. That's why I didn't want to talk about it. Because then
Why?
We don't want to talk about this right now, Lily. That's not what this episode is about.
This is a pressure experiment for me, so I'm like, what is it? Then, never mind. The boys are in my head. That's the thing. Fine. Next week, okay. Let's talk about Thor then. Yay.
Do you want to go into any of the other? Like, did you watch anything this past week?
Oh,
This
yes,
is your thing.
That's bit. Yeah. Did you watch anything this week?
Oh, okay. You just been throwing it back at me.
Yeah.
Did I watch anything this week? No.
Fucking hell.
The issue. No, I've started watching Black Sails again. I pulled out my Blu-rays and I decided, because I have had the itch for the past week or so, it's kind of going concurrently with the itch I have to rewatch The Leftovers, which apparently happens at this time every year because I've got 2 years worth of like, man, I watched Leftovers again in my time hop, like in a very like in succession. I've had these tweets in my time hop, so it clearly is just around this time of year I'm like, wow. The Leftovers. I should watch that again. So I've had the itch. I think it's just for the, prestige drama. I've been wanting more. So I've started watching again. And getting annoyed at the fact my Blu-rays don't have subtitles. They don't have any subtitles. Well, that's not true. Season 1 has subtitles, but they're in German, French, and Dutch. They don't have it in English.
But just use whatever and then you learn it.
No, because that's not helpful.
How do you know? Did you try before?
No, because subtitles are they are a translation of what's going on, but they're never exactly accurate when they're in another language because they have to approximate the tone of what they're saying as well. And it's like that's not going to be. Also, I'm not learning any of those languages. If it was in Spanish, I might think about it, but it's not. There's no Spanish.
Problems everywhere.
Also, once you start watching Black Sails, you'll understand why sometimes I want subtitles. You'll just hear.
You can't understand them.
When you hear Charles Vane, you'll understand. Okay. And I love Zach McGowan and his performance as Charles Vane, but he's so bassy. It's like, what are you saying?
What are you talking about?
But yes, I've started watching Black Sails again. And you know what? It's great. Mostly because, you know what it is? It's because I've been listening to a podcast called Fathoms Deep, which is about Black Sails. But that is the reason I've not really been watching anything, because that's what I've been listening to that instead. And then if I've not been doing that, I've been replaying the Ezio collection, Assassin's Creed. So I finished Assassin's Creed 2 recently, and I've gone into Brotherhood. So I'm not really watching a whole lot at the moment. I'm doing other things. What about you? You've been busy this week, so
I've been busy. I had Comic-Con, guys. I had Comic-Con, so it was very fun, very
eventful.
Infuriating at some points. Yes, I was at the London Film and Comic-Con, and yes, I did witness how they mistreated Joseph Quinn. And no, I won't talk about it anymore because I have to go back next year, and I don't want them to kick me out because it was actually a very good Comic-Con for me. Profit-wise.
You sent me a thing today and you went, told you this was going to happen. I'm like, I never said otherwise. Why? It's like, told you. It's like, okay.
Look. First of all, Joseph Quinn is a treasure. He's fucking great. He's the sweetest guy you can ever meet. You probably won't after this. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna be very honest. And if you want to know why I say that, then just go up on Twitter.
You'll find it really quickly.
Or TikTok or whatever. I unfortunately had to witness some of his mistreatment, and I wasn't quiet about it. I really hope that he can recover enough from this experience to say that maybe I will try it again. We now know that he definitely won't do that at the German Comic-Con because he just cancelled. So yeah, but he's the sweetest. He gives the best hugs, and I wish we could have been recording his reaction to the drawing I gave him, because it was the sweetest thing ever. He was like, "This is not a drawing." It is. I did it. Like, it was like, and the girl who was the one of the helpers was just very on point with timing. She just slid the original drawing that I brought with myself to get it signed, and she just slid it there, and he was like, "Is it really drawing?" And then I was like, "Yeah, it is. It is." It's like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, it was so pure. Like he was just staring at it like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this." And then obviously he signed it. No one understands why he wrote this, and I am wondering if you understood.
What did he say again? I don't remember.
It says, "Dear Lily, this is for you, Joseph Quinn."
I know. I don't think I did get it, because I was looking at going.
You don't get it?
Was it a line? I feel like it was probably. It makes it. Now you're putting it like this. I'm like, it's probably a line.
And I just because I was getting, I didn't understand it at first. That's the main thing. I wasn't sure. Like, this is for you. Like, well, because everyone was like getting.
Oh, Chrissy, got it. Sorry, thank you.
That's the one. When I realized it, I was like, I think mine is the most special one out there. Like, everyone was getting like big love, huge hug and whatnot, and Joseph Quinn. And then I don't know, obviously, for sure, but probably mine is one of the only ones who said, "This is for you." So when I realized it, I teared up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, my heart can't take it. But he's lovely.
To that off menu episode that I sent you, and you were like, "Yes, I knew about this." I'm like, damn. You're usually the one doing that to me. I can't believe I'm the one who did this to you this time. It was. I mean, I was trying to. I was like, I'll put this on at work, and immediately, like within like 10 minutes, I was like, this was a mistake. Because I'm sitting there trying to like do my work, and I'll go. Like, trying not to laugh out loud, because people look at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Just listening to the podcast. It's
I'm
fine.
listening to the podcast. It's fine. They're all very funny.
It's true. It's very true. So yeah, very cool guy. And obviously, the other big thing that happened is that this is not what I watched, by the way. It's just
we're doing this now, so keep going.
Is that I met one of my biggest idols and favorite person on the entire world, Andy Serkis, and I actually did get his reaction on camera.
That was very cute.
How. We were very, very sneaky about it, and what annoys me is that we could have done the same with Joseph, but we didn't think about it. Stupidos. But he's the sweetest, and it was such an honor to meet him, and the way he was reacting to my drawing was
very sweet.
Right, I was like, oh God. I cried. That's not a surprise with me, but I did cry. But yeah, David Harbour as well. David Harbour is great. And then I also met Ariana Richards, who was Lex from Jurassic Park. But she's no longer that little girl. She's like 40.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Because I was like, I you mentioned that, and I was like, who?
I saw it on your face.
But like when you texted me before, and you said Ariana, I was like, fun fact, Ariana is the name of my my D&D character.
That's
just
true.
For the internet out there. But it's spelt with an apostrophe because she's a half-elf.
Fair. But I did watch two things, which I want to point at and be like, please watch it. One of them is the Baymax series on.
Oh, I've been hearing
Plus.
nothing but really joyful things about this.
I love Baymax. Like, Big Hero 6 is a big thing for me, and I just love that movie. And this one is beautifully done. Like, it's like the same as the dog stories and everyone. It's like 10 and 11 minute episodes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was so short, but that does make sense.
Yeah, nice shorts. Same quality as the movie, so it's not like the.
I saw a lot of things that are like that were like, I'm really glad that they didn't really even upgrade. No. The style, it's the same, and it's all very, very beautiful. I saw all the stuff around the the period talk. Specifically the fact that they had like a trans character offering. I was like, yes.
Yeah. There was so
Good
many
content.
Yes, so many good things about it, and obviously Baymax is still the most lovable out of all of them, and I just love him. So watch that. It's really not that long. It's like if you put it together, it's 30 minutes. So just go ahead. It's good fun. And it's very, very, very educational on the fact that, you know, we should, most of the time, we should just accept ourselves and don't be afraid to ask for help. Just always find it nice. And the other one is the new Netflix animated movie, The Sea Beast.
Oh, yes.
Which
that came out way quicker than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
Because they only just announced it.
Yeah, I was very surprised because when I came home, it was already out. So I watched it yesterday. First of all, it's beautifully animated. It obviously features Carl Urban, who's my favorite crush.
Sorry. This is just because obviously the last time I saw Carl Urban, he was Butcher. So
he's Butcher. Yeah. He's a bit. He's the way he says things like lad and lass and whatnot in here.
I mean, fair.
Like, oh my boy. Beautiful movie, beautiful message, and just the whole story is very, very good. So highly recommended, because as we know, Netflix wants to shut down the animation department they have. I wish they wouldn't do that.
Well, I wish we wouldn't do that, and also Netflix stop acting like a capitalist country. Yeah, not country, company. That's the word I was looking at.
Yeah.
But no, of course they are. Because apparently they've decided that it doesn't matter. We don't need to get into that.
And I also finished Miss Marvel. That just ended on Wednesday.
Miss Marvel's really just passed me by. Not because I mean, to be fair, I wasn't all that. I mean, I've heard that it's lovely, and I'm sure it is. But it was just like, when it was starting to come out, people were like, it's like a kids' film, and I was a bit like. But I feel like it's gone past that and come, which is the impression I've gotten. So I'll get to it.
It's obviously about a kid, a young girl.
Well, yeah, but like in that sense of like,
I know,
you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but you like Spy Kids, so
yeah, Spy Kids. But like, I love Spy Kids from when I was a child.
Still, watch it. The ending. There's my brother completely missed it. Damn, bro.
I'm going to be honest. I've seen the ending.
You've seen the ending?
Because
it was
the first thing that came up on on Tumblr actually, because it was trending. So I was like, all right, I'm curious, and I clicked and I was like, oh, there she is. I have no idea what it means because I'm looking at it like, what the fuck?
That's the thing, because we obviously know that Miss Marvel comes back in the Marvels, and Monica Rambeau is coming in. We know that from the end of WandaVision, and then now we got Captain Marvel showing up in the end. Brie Larson is like, I don't know what happened to her, but I didn't recognize her. I was like, is that Brie Larson? Oh my god. I don't know why. For a second, as she turned around, I was like, oh yeah, that's her. Okay.
We have some other people to talk about. We should get into we should start talking about the movie, to be honest.
Yes.
Because it's been enough time.
Yes.
Let's get into the movie. So, first thing to note is that I forgot I was meant to see this on Friday. God, it's I've never been more annoyed at myself in my life.
I know.
I was so annoyed. It didn't help that my friend Kevin was really making a lot of jokes, and I was like, "Stop making fun of me!"
My favorite thing is that you wrote me on WhatsApp and you were like, "Who's the biggest idiot in the world?" or something like that, and I went, "Me?"
It's like, no, it's me.
It's
because it's like I knew. And it's not even like I woke up that morning and I'd forgotten. It was like I knew I was going. I'd gotten the text. They said my cinema usually texts me about 4 hours beforehand to be like, "Here's your ticket. You can because I go into the what we call the lounge, where you can order food to your seat."
Yeah.
And it was like, you can pre-order your food, so it will be there when you arrive. And I usually just kind of don't bother, because half the time I go after dinner and I'm not really that hungry, so I'll just like ask for a glass of water or something when I get there if I'm if I want something just in front of me. But I guess it was just the end of the day. I was watching.
Black Sails.
No, I wasn't watching Black Sails because I literally started watching Black Sails yesterday. So
Okay. I told.
I was watching Too Many Spirits on Watcher, and then I suddenly looked down at the time and it was like 1:45, and I went, "Oh fuck!" And at that point, it was a bit like, because my cinema doesn't do like a half an hour's worth of adverts and trailers beforehand. It does maybe 15 minutes. So you get like some adverts and then you get maybe 3 trailers and then they get into the movie. So it's not that you're not waiting for a long time. So by the time I realised, I knew if I left even then, I still would have missed about the 5 minutes at the beginning of the movie. And it was like, there's just no point. I'm just an idiot. Like I've missed it now. And I don't like, you don't want to miss it. The beginning of the movie is the thing that sets up the movie. It's a very important thing to see. You get the tone, you stop being brought into it, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, I immediately booked myself another ticket to on Monday, and then set myself so many reminders. I put it in my calendar, I set it to remind me an hour beforehand, I set it to remind me half an hour beforehand, I set an alarm for 8 o'clock to make sure I knew. I kept mentioning it to people, so
See, don't forget.
And then I went, and I had a great time. I really did. I just thought it was great.
She says that because I literally sent a message after I watched it, like, I watched THOR. ...
And I was like, you've got to stop doing this. I know exactly what you feel now. Every time you give me an ellipsis, I can feel the disdain radiating off of it. And I'm like, what's wrong with it?
So yeah, we're on the different ends of what they would think of this movie, which would make this fun to talk about.
Well, you didn't hate it though.
I didn't hate it. So that's let's make that clear. I didn't hate it. That's 100%. Like I still enjoyed myself. You know, it was fun. It was whatnot, but it was missing something, which I still can't put my finger on what it was actually missing. But I had this feeling throughout the whole thing. First of all, I had the feeling that, and it's gonna end, which is never good, in my opinion. When you watch a movie, like I was like,
to be fair, I had that feeling during Everything Everywhere All at Once. I had a bit of a sort of like, God, how far into this are we? And I think I mentioned this. Did we talk about it on the podcast?
Like shortly.
Yeah,
like
I got that feeling when we were like part the way through that first part where I was a bit sort of like, oh my God, are we? How far into this are we? Kind of thing. But then the second half I adore and still adore. It wraps the whole thing up very nicely for me. I understand the whole point of the first half because of the second half, and I knew they were going to get there, and that was part of the reason I started feeling a little bit sort of like, so I don't necessarily think of that as a thing, but actually, to be honest, on the opposite side to that, I have real trouble because you will understand this as well as somebody else who talks about movies like this. I have a really hard time shutting my brain off when I watch stuff. Especially when I go in to see movies, there tends to be a part of my brain that stays on, very active, going, like, analysing everything, looking at shots, seeing how things are composed, wondering if character things are working for me, like, actively. And then I get very annoyed at this sometimes because I'm just like, oh my God, if I could stop thinking, maybe I can actually enjoy this movie properly. I don't think I had a proper, like, intensely analytical thought for this entire film. I just, like, was sitting there going, like, this is great. I'm having fun.
Look, that's like, I don't think I was thinking much of it there either. Like, I was just sitting there and watching it and enjoying it. But I still had issues with it. I don't know if I was expecting too much from it.
I have gotten the impression that most people who have had real expectations about this movie have been disappointed. Yeah. But everybody else I've seen who's just gone into it being like, this should be fun, has been like, kind of, and I think I had the benefit of kind of having that, knowing that some people were thinking that. I really did just go into it being like, this is just going to be some stupid fun, and that's what I got, and I was very pleased with myself.
Yeah. It's fair. It's fair.
I don't disagree that it might be missing something from it, but that doesn't bother me. I think is the thing.
I think now that I am thinking about it more, we wrote an article, and obviously Erika was on our show talking about Doctor Strange. But in her article that should come, in her part of the article that will come out soon, she wrote that, obviously we have so many things now building up in the MCU, and I think we are used to things getting connected with each other. And so far I didn't have a problem with this, but I think what I was missing is that obviously we don't have Loki in this one, and this is the first Thor movie when we don't have Loki. And I think this is where the Loki's events were so big, and they affected the timeline and broke the multiverse and whatnot. And I feel like if we would have felt it anywhere, it should have been here. Like I had this theory that the Jane that we're gonna get here is not gonna be the same Jane that we know from this universe. It's gonna be a multiverse version of Jane, for example. And it kind of felt like a missed opportunity to maybe.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't agree.
That's fine.
I think it's because I think maybe I'm on the opposite side in that I'm kind of glad that it wasn't connected to anything else. Like, I kind of like that this was just because I mean, okay, from this point onwards, I think we're going to start getting to actual, plot spoilers. So if you haven't seen the fucking movie yet, then why? But also, go watch the film. It's a lot of fun. I was surprised to see that Thor will return at the very end of the credits, and apparently so were Chris Hemsworth and Taika Waititi.
That's very
they were
funny,
like,
yeah.
What? Which is just another. It's like, on the one hand, that's quite funny, but on the other hand, Marvel, please sort your shit out and actually talk to the people who are making your goddamn movies.
Yeah, would be nice.
It's getting fucking ridiculous, and you're just acting like assholes, which I'm not surprised considering how much Disney owns everything. We don't need to get into this.
No, we don't.
You can look up other things that Marvel have been doing specifically to VFX artists. Go look that up and understand that they're being shitty at the moment.
Now, to be fair, one of my problems in this is also the VFX. I feel like it's getting shittier.
Do you know why? It's because they're not treating their VFX artists properly. They're putting them on tight deadlines. Multiple people have left the industry because of how shitty Marvel have been treating them. They don't pay them enough. They are actively not. They are not working towards making the best product they can. They are churning out content at the moment. They are not leaving time for things to actually be made properly. I don't actually feel like I didn't have actually any issue with the VFX in this movie. It was nothing looked off to me. But I also, as I noted, I wasn't looking at it that closely. I think the only thing maybe I was thinking of that didn't look great were the vines in the the vines on the characters in the scene in the Shadow Realm place. That was the only thing that I kind of looked at it and was a bit that's not as nice as I think I'd like it to be. But I think that was kind of it. That was not, I didn't see anything that made me go, oh, shit.
But that was the that was the beginning with the, I don't know which gods were they, but it was so clearly like VFX that I was like, ugh. It was the same situation we had on Eternals at the post-credits thing when Harry Styles and the elf. What was his name?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't remember his name.
That I felt like I was like looking at the same thing, and I was like,
I retweeted an article, which I'm on Twitter at Test Subject Nerd. I retweeted an article the other day, from somebody who works in VFX about how Marvel have been treating their VFX artists.
Okay, I didn't see that. So I will check it out.
I would I haven't read it specifically, but I've read kind of a lot of the stuff around it. It's not good. Like it's. I think, and I say, like I said, I haven't read it specifically, but the way I'm getting the impression is that it's very similar to the way that animation people in video games are treated around crunch. It's the same culture. It's the same effect. That it's the same thing. So yes, VFX people need to unionize, big time. And there's a lot of talk about people being like, oh, we should boycott Marvel, but it's like we can't. Organizing a boycott needs to be done around a union because otherwise it's not effective. Yeah. And you need a union to be able to like actually, and people just being like, we need to do a boycott, just don't watch the. It's like, yes, I understand, but Marvel's so big, people are going to just go see them unless there is something actually. If you have something that's backing behind it, like an actual thing that is organized and proper, because yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do with unionization and like workforce stuff that I'm seeing at the moment that it just makes my blood boil. Anyway,
gotcha.
I'm done now.
That's good. That's all right.
Let's get back into the content of the movie.
Yes, I will read about it. I didn't read about this at all, so I will check into it. But yes. Good things. Christian Bale is
he's great in it. He was very good in it.
But here's the bad side of it. He needed so much more screen time than what he got. Like you know, he was forming into this very, very good villain. And then I feel like that they just cut it into half and they were like, yeah, that's it, done. And I was like, fuck off. Like
I despite the what I said just now about that scene where I thought maybe that the vines weren't like as nice. Yes. That was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
I really liked it. In terms of like a filmmaking, like an atmosphere kind of thing. There are other things in the movie that I just really just enjoyed out of like pure like giddiness.
Yeah.
But that bit was, I think, the most interesting. I do maybe think, if I'm wanting to be critical about it, it could have gone a bit darker with it in that sequence. Yeah. Just a smidge.
Yeah. Especially because we see like his really wild side like once when he appears to the kids, which was fucking scary. I was like, oh,
it was fun.
Jesus Christ. But he was so good. And I love that craziness that he showed there. I was like, ooh, yes.
It also just looked like he was having a good time.
Yes.
Which I don't think we get to see from Christian Bale very often because he plays such serious characters.
Exactly.
I think you could just see those. He was a bit like, yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, this is fun. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm on board. I fucking love the beginning of the movie. I think it was beautifully done, and I think maybe that's where I got a bit haywired because I was expecting the same tone throughout the whole movie that we got at the beginning and at Gore's introduction. I was like, oh, this is very good. I like this a lot. And then obviously which I love Taika's humor and I don't have a problem with it, but here a lot of times it felt very forced. And I was like,
I guess in places, I don't know if I think maybe I was just in a different headspace for it.
Maybe.
In that I had a great time, you know, in that it was all just very fun. I enjoyed everything that he did. Like, I didn't mind the fact that it all felt very... I honestly thought, because people kept saying he kept undercutting moments with jokes, and I never felt that, personally. I never felt like it, like I thought that especially that whole sequence at the end, that was all very... I was expecting jokes in that, because people kept saying there were jokes in it, but that whole sequence with the gate and eternity, I thought was actually so beautiful, and I think that is the parts where Taika doesn't actually excel, where he lets those moments be incredibly full of heart, and like he really lets like the feeling of like, it's not really love, but like that kind of like bittersweet, harmonious, soft joy, or like that kind of bittersweet sadness kind of exist with each other, and I really like that. I mean, I wasn't as emotional in it as maybe one would have liked to have been, but I'm not bothered entirely by that, to be honest.
I didn't cry. I cried at everything. So like,
I got teared up, and I told you that, I think I told you that this, my other favorite part of the movie in a completely different space to that is just like, and I think this is part of the reason why I felt like I really liked this film, watching those kids all get like super powered and then just
Oh
like
yeah,
beat
yeah.
the shit out of these like
That was
shadow monsters,
very fun.
so joyful.
Yeah.
And like, and I was just sitting there going, because I had read a review before this that it was like, this is kind of one of the first Marvel movies that actually really remembered that one of the target audience for this is, for Marvel films are kids. And I was just, all I could think about was me as a child who would have loved and felt so like empowered and joyful about the idea that I could like go like fight some monsters with some silly superpowers. I love the fact that that little girl was like, I'm going to use my rabbit, because that's like that's so me. That was so me as a child.
Oh yeah, I would have had my teddy bear and just be like,
yeah,
hair
out, screaming. I'm like, yes,
fucking awesome. I love that. I love that.
Like that got me really misty. I got really, really choked up at that, because I was like, it really, because like that is what it should be about. It should be about making these kids feel like they could do anything and like
yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
I think that was one of my favorite things. Also, the goats made me laugh every single time.
At least it's one of us.
Me and the woman who was like not in the chair next to me, the one over, because the chair next to me was empty, just was I mean, maybe once or twice it was too much, but like it really got me. Them flying into the planet and it being just a lot closer than you think it is, and just destroyed me.
No, it was I think how they used it was not very smart at points. Like, you know, it was first time they came in, yes, haha, funny, screaming goats, haha. And then there's that interview where Taika didn't remember where he got the idea from, and then it turns out that remember that viral video where they put it into Taylor Swift's Trouble, and it's just and that's it. And then he was like, oh my god, yes, that's the one. And you know, it was fun at times, and it was definitely getting too much when they were on the ship with the Guardians, and I was like,
it was maybe a little bit excessive in places, but I overall enjoyed it.
yeah. Also mentioning the Guardians,
I never expected them to stay in the movie for that long. I don't know where people were getting this idea that they were going to be in the movie that much.
Well, because obviously Thor left with them at the end of
but there was like I feel like it was kind of obvious that it was like, it's from the trailer. I felt like I got the impression it's like, oh, this is the beginning of the movie. Like they're going to be gone so quickly because he's going to go off and like, because it really felt like it was like, oh, Taika's going to do another Thor movie, and the Russos have gone. He's gone off with the Guardians, and I could just see Taika going like, yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, it felt like that, to be fair. It definitely felt like that.
And that was what I was expecting anyway.
It wasn't for me. It was like, I expected a bit more. Like maybe returning in the end or something, or being in it or something. I love the Guardians, so obviously.
I love the Guardians as well, but I'm just
upset
also
about it.
Very aware that we're getting another Guardians movie plus a Christmas special very soon.
Yes, I know. And a Groot series.
I'm not bereft of Guardians.
Still a bit salty about that, but you know, it was nice to see them again, obviously, being back.
By the way, I'm married. You can't keep getting married on every planet we go to.
Do that. That's so funny. So good. But yes, Guardians, Christian Bale, Russell Crowe was fucking awesome. I think I mentioned this to you, that the second he started talking, immediately my work colleague,
I saw that you tweeted this at Chance. I think that's where I saw it, because I was sitting there going like, I have no concept of a Greek accent well enough to be able to judge what this is like.
It's like, I'm not even joking, Manos, I love you. It's the same. Like the second Russell Crowe started talking with that Greek accent, I was like, oh my god, that's Manos. Come here, I want to hug you. Just the exact same. I was like, literally during that scene, I was sitting like this. Just like, I was so thrilled by it, and I think Russell Crowe was great. Like I think he was just so fun, and I love when Russell Crowe is fun, because he tends to be, once again, that very serious character actor, and I like him, and he just lets loose and just have fun with it. So it was fun.
I loved the reintroduction of our Marvel actors or our Asgardian actors. So good. I mean, so I was unfortunately a little bit spoiled about the fact that Melissa McCarthy was going to be in it, because there was like rumors going around and she was like denying it again, and it was a
I'm
bit
not
sort
in
of
it.
like,
I'm not in
oh
it.
yeah. I was like, okay, so she's in it.
She's in it. And Sam Neill.
And when
Sam
she came
Neill is
out,
back.
I didn't recognize Sam Neill. I did, like, it wasn't until I saw the credits I was like, that was Sam Neill.
That was Sam. He was in Ragnarok as well. He played Odin there as well.
Like, I didn't recognize him.
And I love that tiny bit of scene where Matt Damon and what's the other Hemsworth's name? Luke.
Was it Luke? Okay, I was about to say because it wasn't
No,
Liam.
it's
It
not
was
Liam.
Luke. It was
Luke.
because
and when they go up to Thor and they are like, "You should make this into a play."
it was like, it's like, Valkyrie, my king. What if we did this? Do we think? And she goes, she didn't say no. What do we?
Yeah, she didn't say no. They just, yes, I love.
I like the fact that we got to see them without the wigs and everything.
Yes, yeah.
Very serious, like not polo necked, turtleneck, like thespians talking about their craft.
It was just so nice to know that they survived Ragnarok and they are there
doing important work.
Very important work. Okay, like, it's the worst play ever, and everyone is
so
cheering.
Bad.
Like, fuck yeah!
It's so bad.
Oh god, I love that so much. I was like, Sam Neill! Love Sam Neill. Yes, beautifully done. Let's talk about.
Sorry, wrong quick. The MCU's second sex scene ever was between two men, Korg and Dwayne at the end.
Yeah.
I know.
It was like for a second I was like, what?
You know, but it's like, that's what it was.
It was, yeah.
And good for them. I'm so happy for Korg.
Well done, Korg. Yes. Let's talk about Natalie Portman.
I thought she was a delight. Did you not like her?
She felt forced. Like those one-liners, trying to, find her catchphrase. I like the moments where she was obviously struggling with cancer and switching back from Thor to Jane. I love those moments. I think those were like, so nicely done. And I think Natalie can be freaking funny, and she's great at comedy as well.
I really liked the scene after, like, when you first time you actually see that she's still really suffering, and she smashes the thing, and then she comes out and she has that moment with Valkyrie. I love that sequence. I love them scene. Like comparing hammers and swords and being like, oh wow.
Yeah. That's like,
is that a hand grenade? It's a speaker.
Those scenes, like, there were these highlight moments with her, but then altogether it felt a bit forced for me. It was like, I mean, she could work as Mighty Thor 100%. I just didn't understand, like, you bring her into this movie, and obviously we have that post-credit scene where she goes to Valhalla and meets Heimdall, which was a delight scene.
That was nice.
Idris Elba, like, beautiful. But then what? So what? Like, she came in for this one and then that's it?
Yeah, again, it's one of those, like it's one of the reasons why I feel like seeing that Thor will return at the end of the movie made me go a bit like, why? And it's because it's clearly not the movie that they were making. They were making a swan song for Thor in general. They were clearly making we don't need, we're done, I'm not doing Thor anymore kind of movie.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that Thor will return is actually to do with
Natalie. Yeah,
because that was the first thing I just thought, and I'm like, huh.
That's what I was thinking as well, because she's Mighty Thor now, so is she the one who's coming back?
I mean, I don't see the reason for the Valhalla scene with that unless that must be it.
Yeah. That's my thought on it as well. So I'm not sure where this is heading. Maybe both of them will return, like, God knows with Marvel at this point. But yeah, I felt like that she had so much more potential in there, and it felt a tiny bit wasted. I'm not gonna lie, it was a tiny bit wasted for me. I was very happy to see Kat Dennings again at the beginning. hope she's doing these little returns more because we like her. But yeah, altogether, I think it was mostly the jokes a lot of times that just didn't land for me. Like, not that much.
Because I have. It's been a while since I've seen a movie and actually laughed out loud that much.
Yeah.
I don't tend to watch comedies because especially nowadays comedies are like,
Yeah.
they exist in that sort of like Kevin Hart space. You know, those ones that they're like, I have no time for them. That kind of American comedy,
Yeah.
they're not funny to me. I've never enjoyed them. I don't, and I feel like the comedy, the kind of pure comedy movie has sort of died in cinema currently. It's not doing very well.
Yeah. No.
And which is a shame because I feel like there's, you know, there's somebody out there that's got to be doing, you know, actually good comedy. But all the good comedies on television nowadays, let's be real.
Yeah.
But so it's like it has been a very long time since I have actually laughed out loud that much in cinema. So and like I said, I just sat and I was like, I had fun, and that was it. I don't have any real deep thoughts on it. Like, I think if I like as we talk about it, I'm like, yeah, I can see that there's issues with it. I don't give a shit.
No, like, you know, at the end of the day, it was great fun. I enjoyed it all together. I did have my issues with it, but it doesn't mean that, like, you know, it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a bad movie.
I think it's
like,
delight.
It's
That's what I call it. I think it's delightful.
Yeah, because some people like putting it on like the bottom on the list of the Marvel thing. I don't think it's there. Like, it's really not that bad. I think maybe I am in the area where I might have been expecting something completely different, and that's why it was. I don't know. I still can't put my finger on it.
I would be interested to see, to hear what you think if you watched it again. Like, just like letting go of any kind of expectations and just sort of letting the movie be what it is now that you know what it is. Because I feel like you probably would get more enjoyment out of it, to be honest.
Well, to be fair with you, I rewatched Doctor Strange recently, and I just loved it a lot more this second time around. I think Marvel is getting into that phase where we're expecting a lot because we already got a lot. And you know, obviously they are raising the stakes, and there are more characters, and there are more storylines, and there are more connections to be made, and you know, everyone is like a bit like,
I think it's nice to be able to have a movie like this, though, that kind of doesn't do anything like that, where you can just sort of be like, just ignore the fact that everything else exists and just have a little bit of a fun time in this weird little space where Thor's just a bit silly and his ass is out. Felt like we needed to mention that.
So glorious.
Thanks, Taika. Also, Valkyrie, just in general. Oh my gosh,
gorgeous. You know, that goes
incredible.
She's so good. Westworld is back. That's the other thing I am watching.
God, I really need to catch up with Westworld. My dad keeps telling me, he's like, "Oh yeah, Westworld's back," and I'm like, I never finished season 2. That's how far behind I am.
You have to catch up with it
because I know it's been people. It's like it's really good still. I'm like, yeah, I love the first season. You know why I'm left the second season? There's that bit right at the end. I think it's episode 4 where. I'm gonna mix up all of my are they samurais? Yeah, okay. So when all the samurais come in the snow and they kind of charge in, that's where I left it. I haven't seen any more since then. Amazingly, I've managed to miss any kind of spoiler ever to do with season 3. I have absolutely no idea what's been going on.
Good.
Other than that, I've seen that Aaron Paul has an emo fringe this season.
Oh, it's so fun.
I keep looking at him being like, what have they done to your hair?
So fun. I think it suits him, actually. Once you get used to it, it's like...
I kind of look at him like, it's not terrible, but it is a bit sort of like... So.
We are not used to it. But once you like... I love Aaron Paul.
I mean, yeah.
This is well great in this
Louis' been watching Breaking Bad again. Nice. I didn't realize how quickly he was going through it because I came home today and he's watching Ozymandias. Last time I saw he was in mid-season 4 and I was like, good lord, you've gotten through this quickly. Yep. Literally I watched the scene where they killed Hank. And I was like, they haven't found Jesse yet. Because Jesse is the only thing that matters to me by that point in
Jesse is the greatest.
I love Jesse so much.
Easy. Yes.
Pivot
and Tessa Thompson is obviously in Westworld,
which is why
that's why I mentioned it.
Yeah, she's
Fucking
amazing.
Rain.
She's so pretty.
So pretty. It's like, it's a sin to be this pretty. It's like,
Oh,
go
gorgeous.
away. Why is so pretty?
It's so funny.
Shut up.
Uh,
See, like her delivery on fun was like,
yeah,
come on.
perfect. I
Just
do
perfect.
wonder if Natalie's like sense of I do wonder if maybe Taika's sense of humor and the way that Natalie does humor don't necessarily
Probably.
mesh entirely well, which is fair because it's a very specific type of
Yes.
humor,
Yeah.
and it's not going to stop being funny to me that Taika Waititi did not remember that Natalie Portman was in the
That
first,
was
it
so
was in the
good.
prequels. That is hilarious. And I'm so glad that he's making a Star Wars movie because I feel like
Yes.
it's gonna piss off a lot of very intense Star Wars fans.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
And I'm like, yes, do
I can't
it.
wait. Well, there's already like things going around. Like even my brother mentioned it. I was like, oh come on, because of, apparently I didn't watch any interviews from Thor, but he's saying things that makes them worried that what's gonna happen with the Star Wars movie, and do we really
The
want
man's
that
not even.
Taika
He's
Star
not
Wars
even.
movie?
He's not written the movie.
Like, fuck off! Like shut the fuck up and wait for
He's
the
not
movie to
written
come out
the
and watch
movie,
it.
Yeah. And the whole point of this movie is that it's not meant to be connected to anything else.
Yeah.
Like, what's it
End
gonna
of
ruin?
story. End of story. Like, what the fuck is your problem, people? Like, at least wait till it comes out and you can actually watch it before you fucking judge something. Like, I'm so annoyed with these things. I'm like, fuck off. But I'm not worried. He directed,
it's gonna be delight. I'm gonna have a great time no matter what.
Yeah, he directed like two or just one. Well, the first season of Mando, he directed.
Oh, he did, didn't he? I forgot that he'd done that.
He did the last episode of the
He's
first
so
season.
busy. Every time I think about what he's doing, because he's obviously got all this prep stuff to do for Star Wars. And in October he's off to New Zealand again to go film Our Flag Means Death to season 2. Again, so excited. Again, very annoyed at the Academy. And then I think he's still producing Reservoir Dogs, and I mean, he's just busy. he's got so many fucking things to do. Oh, What We Do in the Shadows, he's still executive producing that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Too many things, Tiger. Take a break.
Oh, he will. Once he gets tired, he will. I think he's just enjoying
I suppose he is having a
way
good
too
time.
much.
But before we wrap up, we need to talk about the first post-credit scene, because this means nothing to you, but I was so excited after that first post-credit scene where because we see Hercules. Hercules.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, probably mean different things to you.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it's Hercules. To me, that's Roy Kent. That is Ted Lasso's Roy Kent, and I lost my fucking mind.
I knew it's gonna connect to something.
No, I'm not even kidding. Because I was like, okay, what's this scene about? Because people kept talking about cameos and like reveals and all that stuff, and I was like, all right, what the hell are we gonna? And he said Hercules. I was like, all right, who are we turning around? And he just like said Brett Goldstein. And I went, oh my god. I am the only person in this cinema who clearly watched any of Ted Lasso, and you have to. Oh god, Ted Lasso is so good. Lily, I need you to watch Ted Lasso so you understand how excited I am.
I will watch it. Don't worry, I will.
Because it really was so exciting. For me, I genuinely like squealed in my seat, like, oh my god, it's fucking Roy Kent. Which means I had the Roy Kent chant in my head the entire way home, in like midst, like occasionally turning into Sweet Child of Mine, so it would kind of jump between both of them.
Fair.
So excited. That's a delight. Brett Goldstein is so funny. I mean, he's an incredibly talented writer. He came on to Ted Lasso as a writer, and then they ended up. I think he kind of forced them to make him Roy Kent, basically, because he is so much of that. But like, he's he's just a very funny man. So whatever this is gonna be, I really hope that they dig into that.
I'm sure they will.
Because the whole thing, it seems ridiculous anything, so why wouldn't they do that? But it's like, oh my god, it's Roy fucking Kent.
Yeah. I'm keep reminding myself whenever they do these cameos now, like, we got like Harry Styles is coming in, and then we heard Mahershala Ali's voice at the end of Eternals, and then now this, which I am not that excited about, but I'm sure we'll understand.
All Ted Lasso fans and Marvel fans are very excited at this moment in time.
I will join in on that club, I promise. But I keep reminding myself of that scene at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where they reveal that they are making.
So long since I've seen that movie. I literally have no
I
idea what that
love,
scene was.
I love that movie so much. When they reveal that she's making Adam, and since then we know that Adam will be played by Will Poulter, who I dearly love. He's my sweet, sweet boy.
As in, like,
Ken.
Adam and Eve. Adam.
No, it's just Adam.
I don't know who that is.
You will find out. You will,
Alright.
you will find out. But it's,
People
it's just a
didn't
delight
like
that.
Guardians 2 that much, did they? I feel like Guardians 2 didn't get as much love as, like... Okay. Because I haven't seen this movie in a while, and I've decided now I want to talk about it. I saw that movie... I was in a really bad mood before we went into that film. I can't remember why, but like something I was just in a shitty mood that day. So I was coloured a little bit, but I did get part of the way through the movie, and it did start to brighten me up a bit. Like about halfway through, there was a joke somewhere in the prison break sequence. Something made me laugh, and I was like, okay. But looking back on it now, the whole thing with like, not Russell Crowe, the other one. Jeff Bridges?
Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell. They all exist as like the same man in my head. Kurt Russell. And the whole like, making the universe thing, blah blah blah. That's all like that was really good. And it's been a while. I gotta watch these movies again. It's been a really long time.
I fucking love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Like, it has one of the best lines ever. I'm Mary Poppins, you all. Fucking love Michael Rooker. He's great. And I just love that movie genuinely because James Gunn takes the time to. It's actually one of the first time where we can properly mourn a beloved character's death. With Yondu's gone at the end, and I always cry at that scene. I can't help myself. He might have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
No.
And Lily's just like, that's me. So yeah. Watch it again. It's very fun. And I am very happy that Will Poulter is coming in to the Guardians because I think he's going to be fucking fantastic and just great because he's a great actor. So can't wait to see him.
No clue.
It will come to you. It will come to you. It's fine. But yeah, I think all together.
Movie fun. That's it.
That's it. That's all
I don't think you need anything else.
Yeah.
Take out any expectations you have from the movie and go into it wanting to have a fun time, and you will absolutely have a fun time.
Score on it?
That should be it. Oh, score?
Yeah.
8.
7.5.
I think that's fair.
I don't hate it. Like, don't get me wrong. I was moaning about it, but I don't hate it. So
I think, yeah, Ragnarok is clearly still the best of the Thor movies.
Fuck yeah.
But the reasons I appreciate Ragnarok are entirely different to the reasons I appreciate this movie. So, because, like I said, I like the fact that I think I just enjoy the fact that this movie is just so not connected to anything. It's just about, like, it's Thor's hot and sexy summer. Come on.
Fair. Alrighty then. The next week, I'm going to be back.
Then we can talk about the boys.
Yes.
Then we can actually get into the stuff I want to talk about. Because I do have some points. Although I did
some points as well.
I did discuss one of the major points I had about this season with you at length already.
Oh yes, that's true.
But we can do that again.
Of course we can.
Because there's been a little bit more development about that anyway. So
yeah, that's true.
Since then,
that's true. It's fucking brilliant. But we're gonna be talking about it next week in full length, and it's just gonna be Boys, Homelander, Butcher, Huey, and all that.
Frenchie,
and Kimiko. Kimiko is the greatest. And fucking Jensen Ackles, who fucking nailed.
I mean, he was really good.
He was really fucking good.
We'll get into that properly next week.
Yes, all that next week. And for now, love you all. Goodbye.
I'm pushing the stop streaming button right now.
Yes.
Right, or am I? Where am I going? Oh, over here. Okay, bye-bye.